In this session, I am going to discuss about potentiometer. Okay, basically, potentiometer is a device which is used to compare the EMFs of two primary cells. Potentiometer is also used to determine the internal resistance of a given primary cell. Fine. In this session, we are going to discuss the principle of potentiometer, the construction of potentiometer, and how potentiometer is used to compare EMFs of two given primary cells. And we are also going to discuss how the internal resistance of a given primary cell is determined using this potentiometer. Right? What is the principle of potentiometer? When a steady current is maintained through a wire, then the fall of potential across the length of the wire is directly proportional to the balancing length. I repeat, when a steady current is maintained through a wire, when a steady current is maintained through a wire, then the fall of potential from a cell is directly proportional to the balancing length. Fine. Then what is the construction of potentiometer? There is an auxiliary battery whose EMF should always be greater than the EMF of either cell. And this auxiliary battery, it maintains a constant current through this wire. And see that the potential difference that we applied here from this battery should always be greater than the EMF of the either cell. Otherwise, if this EMF of the battery applied here is less than the EMF of either cell, then the galvanometer won't give opposite side deflection. There will be one side deflection because the balancing point does not lie between the points A and B. When this applied voltage is less than EMF of either cell. If this applied voltage at these 2 points is more than EMF of either cell, then there will be opposite side deflection. And the balancing point lies between these 2 points on the bridge. Okay. Then the second defect may be, if all these 3 positives are not connected to the point A, then galvanometer gives one-sided deflection. So, all the 3 positives of the battery, the cell 1 and the cell 2 should be connected to the point A. Otherwise, the galvanometer gives one-side deflection. Why? Then here is a rheostat and there is a key here. There is a two-way key here. Let me call it is K1 and let me call this is K2. And here is a high resistance box which is connected to the galvanometer in order to safeguard the galvanometer. If there is a passage of large current through the galvanometer, then galvanometer may get severe damage. So in order to avoid that damage, we connect one high resistance box to the galvanometer, which will safeguard the galvanometer. Fine. Then here there is a jockey. The jockey is slided over the wire. Galvanometer gives null deflection at the balancing point. Fine. Now, how do we measure the balancing length? Fine. First, we need to connect any one of the shell. Say the cell 1. K1 is closed. K2 is closed between the points 1 and 2. Then move the jockey over the wire. As you move the jockey over the wire, there is a fall of potential on this wire from this cell. The potential keep on falling here. All the potential of the cell falls when the galvanometer gives zero deflection. And that length at which the complete potential of the cell is fallen on this wire, we say that EMF of the shell is directly proportional to balancing length. No, we write this as E1 is equal to some constant. This constant is known as potential gradient. Fall of potential per unit length into L1. This potential gradient is defined as fall of potential per unit length. Its SI unit is volt per meter. It's a proportionality constant. Now repeat the procedure for the second cell. Remove the first cell, then connect the second cell. Close K1, close K2 between the terminals 3 and 2. Move the jockey over the wire. Like this you keep on move till the galvanometer gets zero deflection. Till the galvanometer gives zero deflection. Fine. When you move the jockey over the wire, there is a fall of potential from the cell. All the potential of the cell falls when the galvanometer gives zero deflection. Then we write that EMF of the second cell is directly proportional to balancing length L2. Then E2 is equal to sigma into L2. Then dividing 1 by 2, we get E1 divided by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. This is how we compare EMFs of two given primary cells. Greater the balancing length, greater would be the EMF. If you connect the Lackland cell and the Daniell cell, usually the EMF of Lackland cell will be more. It gives more balancing length as compared to the Daniell cell. Daniell cell and Lackland cell are two given primary cells. What are primary cells? Primary cells are those chemical cells which cannot be recharged. Secondary cells are those chemical cells which can be recharged again and again. For example, lead accumulator, car battery is an example of secondary cell. So this completes how we compare two EMFs using potentiometer. So the principle of the potentiometer is that the fall of potential across a wire is directly proportional to balancing length when the steady current is maintained through the wire. Then how do we use potentiometer to determine internal resistance of a cell? The same circuit, rheostat, K1 and this is rheostat. It is a potential divider. There is a milliammeter. Here also there is a milliammeter. There is a battery. From this battery, we adjust the constant flow of current using this rheostat. Adjusting this rheostat and looking the flow of current through the milliammeter, it shows the constant flow of current through the wire. And that flow of current through the wire is from this auxiliary battery. Here also same. Auxiliary battery. There is a milliammeter rheostat. We adjust the rheostat in such a way that there is a constant flow of current through this wire. And that current we can see here through the milliammeter. And this current, the steady current which is flowing through the wire should be more than this EMF of either shell. If the applied potential difference here is lesser than the EMF of the shell, either in this experiment or in that experiment, we get one-side deflection. So, this part of the circuit is used to maintain constant flow of current. Then only there is a fall of potential across the wire from the cell. Fine. Come back to this experiment. This experiment is used to determine the internal resistance of the cell. Look at the difference between this experiment and that experiment. Here two cells are there. Here only one shell is there. One shell is replaced by a resistance box, small resistance box. This resistance box, it safeguards the galvanometer. Right? So again I repeat the principle of the potentiometer. When a steady current is maintained through the wire, then the fall of potential from the cell is directly proportional to the balancing length. First, close key K1 and close key K2 between the terminals 3 and 2. Then move the jockey over the wire till the galvanometer gives zero deflection. So that time the EMF of the cell is directly proportional to the balancing length. Now connect 1 and 2, 3 and 2. Take out some resistance. Move the jockey. Move the jockey over the wire till the galvanometer gives zero deflection. This time, when the resistance is taken, when both are connected here, resistance is taken. So that time, all the EMF do not fall on the wire. Some part of EMF falls across this resistor. I repeat, when resistance is taken, jockey is moved over the wire. All the EMF of the shell does not fall on this wire. Some part of this EMF, potential difference, falls across the resistor. So therefore, this time we won't get EMF of the cell because the complete potential is not fallen here. Some part of it is fallen here also. Therefore, we get potential difference. So potential difference that is fallen between these 2 points is directly proportional to balancing length L2. Now I write E upon V is equal to L1 by L2. As we learned in the topic, EMF of a given shell E is equal to, as we know that is V plus IR. V is the potential difference, I is the current, R is the internal resistance of the cell. What is internal resistance? As we know that the cell is made of electrolytic substance and two electrodes. They have some resistance. They oppose the flow of current. Therefore, cell has internal resistance. The internal resistance of the cell depends on the nature of the electrolyte used in the cell, and it also depends on the surface area of the electrodes. Fine. So, internal resistance of the cell is that resistance of the cell which opposes the flow of current through the cell. Fine. Now I write this as E is equal to V, as we know that by Ohm's law, IR plus IR. So E is equal to, I is common, then we get R plus R. Now substitute this value here. Substitute this value here. E is nothing but IR plus IR divided by V is nothing but IR is equal to L1 by L2. I have written E is equal to IR plus IR, and I have written V is equal to IR. I use these equations. This equation is applicable. EMF of the cell is greater than the potential difference when the cell is under discharging action. So substitute these values here. Then IR cancels. We get I cancels, R by R. So I write this as IR cancels, we get 1. IR cancels, we get 1. IR by IR, II cancels, we get R by R. I repeat, this IR cancels, then IR by IR, II cancels, R by R is left out, equal to L1 by L2. Then I will write somewhere here. Then R by R is equal to, what we get is L1 by L2 minus 1. Then R is equal to R in the bracket L1 into L2 by L1. This formula is used to determine internal resistance of a given primary shell. So I conclude that potentiometer is a device which is used to compare the EMFs of two given primary shells. That is first part of the experiment. Second one is potentiometer is also used to determine internal resistance of a given primary shell. The principle of potentiometer is fall of potential from the cell is directly proportional to balancing length where the steady current is maintained through the wire. Fine. So this completes about potentiometer. Thank you.